What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and another video. So today I want to get working on for one, I want to change the transmission fluid and both front and rear axles, and I want to try to get this thing running better. Like I said, it does run pretty good, but when I take it out on the road, it is very slow. It's pretty hard to get the thing past like 25-30 miles an hour. Fifth gear is completely useless. Yeah, I know the big tires do play a role in that, but I really feel like it should at least be able to go like 40, no problem. Also, when I rebuilt the carburetor the first time, I replaced the jets, and sometimes with those aftermarket carb kits, they give you wrong sized jets. They're not printed on those like a lot of the dirt bike style jets have a number on them for the size. These ones are blank, so I don't know if they were a different size. I think I'm going to pull the carb back out, swap out the OEM, the jets I took out that were originally in the carb. Jets don't wear out. The only thing that happens to jets, if you let gas sit in the carb for a long time, they'll plug up. So all you gotta do is clean them out and they're perfectly fine. They're not a wear item. So let's check the valves, pull that carb out, swap the jets. Hopefully that will fix it. I've kind of gone through everything else. I hope all the vacuum lines are routed correctly. I couldn't really find a diagram. And also check this out. We might be able to go do a little bit of plowing. I want to wait a little bit. There's only like probably 2 inches out there. It stopped for the day, but we're supposed to get a lot of snow in the next few days. Here's the weather report. We're supposed to get dumped on with snow. So in this video, I want to get out there and see if this thing will plow. I know a lot of you guys are curious. I'm also curious. I've only plowed like 2 inches of snow. We really haven't got much this year. So really want to get out there and push some snow around, see how this thing does. So this is the oil I am going to be using. I know this is probably a little overkill, but I got MT90 for the transmission. It is GL4. That's what they recommend for the tranny. The axles don't care. So I got 7590. This is a GL5. So let's get to swapping this oil out, and then we'll jump in, pull the valve cover, and check those valves. All right, we got the tranny drain. So I originally bought 3 quarts of this MT90. I read online it said like 2.5 quarts, but now I looked it up again and I found another source saying 3.5. So I'm gonna throw these 3 quarts in, and if I still need a little extra, I got this lightweight shockproof by Redline too. So a lot of people actually mix the MT90 and the lightweight shockproof, or the MT90 and the MTL by Redline. I guess it's a little cocktail some people use, and they think it shifts a little bit better. So either way, we got enough oil here. It's not gonna hurt anything mixing the 2 oils. This is also a GL4 as far as I know. Also check out how nasty the diff fluid was. This stuff is pitch black. It's like super thick. You saw it coming out of the rear diff. The front wasn't as bad. The rear was really black and really thick. It's probably never been changed. I am glad I'm going through it all now. All right, we got these adjusted. So there was one intake that was maybe just a little bit tight, not really, probably not enough to make it run any worse. So I set the intakes to 4000s and the exhaust to 6 thou. That's what I read online is the correct spec for that. So I'm going to put a little RTV, not much, just a bit around this gasket just to make sure it doesn't leak, and we'll get that back on, and then we'll pull the carb off and go through that one more time. All right, we got these jets swapped out. I believe the bigger one is the main jet, which controls higher RPM. So just looking at it, obviously I don't have anything to measure the inside hole of this jet, but just looking at them side by side and comparing them, this new one looks quite a bit bigger. So that may be why it's running so rich. So hopefully that will fix it. One other thing I just noticed is if you look at the float level, you can see it's pitched down. As far as I'm aware, at least on a lot of dirt bike carburetors, that float should be level with the surface where the float ball mounts. So if you're comparing those two surfaces, the float and where the float ball mounts, you can see it is pitched down. So I'm gonna raise that float level up a little bit to get a little more height and get that level. All you gotta do to adjust the float level is bend this tab right here. That actually is pushing on the needle. So we'll bend that down a little bit, raise that float up to level, and then let's throw this car back on and hopefully it'll run better. All right, so looking at the float level here and the surface here, you can see they look very level. So I believe that's how you should set it. Well, it definitely feels like it has more power way up top at like full throttle, but it's got like a flat spot right off idle. I don't know a whole lot about these carburetors, so I don't know exactly what controls what, but I do know the air fuel screw isn't changing that flat spot at all. So I'm not really sure. It could be one of those jets, I guess. It's the only other thing I changed, so I may have to dig back into the carburetor, but it does feel better up top. I haven't brought it out on the road, which I need to do, but it is like 10 degrees here. It is freezing cold. The truck won't even warm up. So I'm gonna call it a day for now. Maybe tomorrow we'll get back out here and see if we can figure anything else out with it. Well guys, it's now the next day. We got dumped on with snow last night, so I'm gonna put off tuning this carburetor in or trying to figure out this little dead spot issue for right now, because I am really anxious to go try this snowplow out. One thing I want to do before we get out there and start pushing some snow around, I bought some 2-inch ABS pipe that I'm going to put on the bottom of my snowplow. I've never actually tried this, but a lot of people say it helps with not picking up a bunch of gravel and pretty much pushing all the gravel off your driveway. So let's get this pipe mounted on the bottom of this plow. All right, we got that pipe on there. That wasn't too bad. So I just made a cut down one side of it and spread it out, pound it on there. A lot of people say these work really well. Hopefully it'll stay on there. It's actually a pretty decently tight fit with no bolts or anything. So let's get the plow on and let's go plow a little bit of snow. Well, the plow is working great. I did a little bit of plowing down here, you can see, but this thing is running super crappy. That little dead spot, especially when you get a little bit of load on it, pushing some snow, it almost dies. So I'm gonna swap those jets back out. That's the only thing I changed. So it did run a lot better. With these jets, it seemed to have just a little bit more like high-end power maybe. So it's a pain to even plow right now. So let's swap these jets back out and see if we can get this thing running a little better. Alright guys, we got this thing plowed out. I must say, I am very, very impressed with how this truck works with the plow. It's running a lot better after we swapped those jets out. Not having any traction issues at all. Yeah, this is some pretty light snow and there's no ice buildup yet. So I guess once the driveway kind of turns into ice and we get like a foot of wet snow on top of it, we might have to throw some chains on. But very impressed with how this thing works. Well guys, I gotta say, I think this truck was a very good investment for myself. Usually I plow with a tractor, and being out there in the open, if it's dumping snow, it is miserable. It is freezing cold, you get wet, cold. It is not fun at all. So this thing with the heater, the windshield wipers, it is comfortable, it is nice, it plows great. So far haven't had any traction issues. Like I said, I only have 2 sandbags in the back, so that really isn't much weight. If I do have traction issues, I'm gonna buy chains for it and then throw in more sand or cinder blocks or something in the back for weight. But like I said, we only got about 6 inches of light snow right now, so it's pretty easy to plow. But either way, one thing I do want to do to this plow is make some wings. They'll probably be pretty small. I don't want to go too wide with the plow, but for cleaning up all the little scraps that just kind of fall off the edge of the plow, the wings would definitely help out for that, make it a lot faster to clean up the driveway. So all in all, extremely happy with how this thing works with the plow. Everything is working sweet. Also, the running issue, it does run so much better after I put those other jets back in. I'm not really gonna be able to get on the road right now. It is dumping snow to try out like the top speed. Once we get a decent day, we'll get out and do that. But I'm starting to think it's just kind of normal for this thing. It has the smaller 550cc motor. The newer ones have a 660, which I believe is a decent upgrade. It's got a little bit more power, and I think it'd push it a little bit better. But with the 550 and pushing these 25-inch tires, I think it might just be slow. I think I need a turbo on this thing. But either way, I didn't buy this thing to go or drive it around town. Yeah, it will be cool. Yeah, I still will. Just won't be able to go very fast doing it. But I mainly just bought it for on the property, like I'm doing right now, plowing snow, all that good stuff. So it's definitely gonna work amazing around the property. Well, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If we get a ton of snow tonight or tomorrow, maybe I'll throw in another video of doing a little bit more plowing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go smash the thumbs up button, drop a comment, let me know what you think. We'll see you in the next video.